Abortion is a common daily occurrence in almost every country of the world. Only the law and the conditions under which abortions are performed vary from place to place and time to time. The heart of the abortion matter is not a debate about when life begins. Gina Oxley is pregnant. She's young and single, hopes to have a career. Normally sociable, she's suddenly isolated by her condition. Ireland's constitution forbids abortion. There are no exceptions to the rule. None, not even in the case of incest, rape, or serious illness. Ireland uniquely is free of abortion. It's also free of sex education and available birth control, so it's not free of unwanted pregnancies. A woman seeking a solution doesn't have many options. Most advertised phone numbers offering help suggest ways of initiating adoption procedures. But to Gina, this is not an unwanted child to be adopted. It's an unwanted pregnancy. The Irish are religious people, and their church is unrelenting in its opposition to abortion. The position of the church doesn't stop Irish people from having conflicting opinions on abortion.
There are people killed by the bomb and the bullet. Their murderers are caught and they get life in prison. The people that do abortion, there are murderer for each child that they abort.
What's the next step? Murdering off old people?
We've already got the first step to abortion in this country, in that we've got referral agencies.
Say you, God forbid, were raped by this mass murder in England. Would you like to produce this child, would you? Which would be the greatest trauma, to produce the child from this mass murderer or have abortion?
Have abortion. It can happen to any man's daughter.
Answer that one now.
That baby is an innocent babe, an innocent result. That baby has the right to life as much as any of us have.
You object to ripper, would you?
Exactly.
I think that the women of this nation, this island of ours, are well and truly capable of deciding this issue if the referendum was left to the women. I believe that women should be in absolute command of their own bodies.
Woman's own decision.
Shouldn't be. I don't think a woman has the right to choose, because that is another human life, which should be regarded and should be respected.
I don't think that we who are well clothed, well looked after, well educated, who have children that we love, have the right to say to these women, you must have that child, when we are not prepared to help them, to care for that child, when we're prepared to leave them living in bad conditions, with no facilities, bad clothing, bad food. Who wants to have a child if they cannot care for it?
Down here. Abortion would to be the same as slinging up with a rope to a tree and hang them. Abortion is wrong and it shouldn't be allowed. And the people that perform that operation should get jail. They're murderers.
There is always a practical solution, a small social safety valve. In Dublin, the safety valve is a single discreet office near Mountjoy Square.
Okay, what's the worst part of it?
I just didn't think it would ever happen.
It's your boyfriend. You're pregnant by your boyfriend, Jane, is that right?
Well, he's more of a friend than a permanent boyfriend. He's just someone I'm very close to.
Have you told him that you're pregnant?
No.
Are you going to tell him you're pregnant? That's okay. Would you like a tissue, Gina?
Okay.
Have you told anybody you're pregnant? Girlfriend or?
No one. I just don't know what to do.
Were you thinking of having an abortion?
My parents would just throw me out if they knew I was pregnant. I couldn't have a baby. I don't want to have a baby.
Well, you can, of course, Gina. You know, you can go ahead with the pregnancy. You can take the pregnancy to full term if you wish and have the baby adopted.
Where would I have to go if I was having an abortion?
Well, I could make a booking for you with a clinic in London.
But I have to go to London.
Well, it's the easiest for us to actually organise for you. We have connections with a very nice clinic in London.
Will anybody know?
No, it's completely confidential, Gina. I mean, I don't even have your surname on my files, right?
But I've heard of people being rung up at work or their bosses being rung up and told that they've had abortions and all kinds of things like that.
Well, that's somebody bad-mouthing them, Gina. That doesn't come from an official agency. The clinic in England would have no business whatsoever getting in touch with your boss or with your family. We're here to help, Gina, you know. It's not a problem. As it's not going to interfere with a future pregnancy in any way, a future pregnancy which you may wish to bring to term. Well, you're very young yet, Gina. I mean, you may want to have a family later in life. You may be getting married later.
I never want to go through this again anyway.
Well, there's not going to be any need for you to go through this again if you don't wish to, Gina, you know. You're not the only one in this situation. If 30 Irish women a week go for abortions in England, that actually comes down to women you work with, women who are in the pub with you, women you pass on the street, you know. And I know that people don't talk about it particularly, but that they're all around us really, you know.
Gina Oxley boards the boat familiar to tens of thousands of Irish women for the trip to England where, for a price, abortion is legally available to one and all. With no abortions performed in Ireland and virtually no services available to women with unwanted pregnancies, it's almost as if none of it really happens. But it has always happened. The earliest civilizations knew it was necessary to control population size in order to survive, and they developed different methods of birth control and abortion. Continuous breastfeeding provided some birth control, and the most popular method of abortion was herbal, natural to people who sought all their cures from plants and tonics. When these failed, a tribe might have to resort to infanticide. For philosophers, abortion was a moral issue as well as a practical one. Plato and Aristotle actually outlined a method to their disciples. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, also acknowledged the necessity of abortion. It was only after his death that revisionists added an anti-abortion clause to the Hippocratic Oath. On the other side of the world, Buddhist monks and scholars condemned abortion because it would release a soul to wander. The Hindus felt the same. Women everywhere continued to have abortions. The Japanese regulated their numbers by abortion and infanticide until the late 19th century, when Victorian morality arrived in Japanese parlors. Abortion continued secretly. 1,000 years ago, Islamic women with unwanted pregnancies used Greek abortion methods, like the herbal recipe of Dioscorides. Invariably, it was the men who were the interpreters of religious teachings. The Old Testament does not mention abortion, nor did Christ. Sex and pleasure were sinful to the early church fathers. Abortion was a mortal sin. They believed that a soul entered the body at conception, though there was no medical comprehension of exactly when conception took place. By the Middle Ages, the Church decided that the soul did not appear in the unborn until up to 80 days after conception. This made abortion acceptable again for several hundred years. But not for Pope Pius IX. In 1869, he declared that the soul entered the unborn at conception. 1,000 years of abortion lawmaking had passed without the church authorities ever consulting women. At the beginning of the 20th century, abortion and infanticide were common in England and America. There was only one unreliable alternative: abstinence. The patriarchs of the state joined the church fathers in promoting large families. There were colonies, parish halls, and factories to fill. Outlawing abortion with harsh penalties would mean larger families and more cheap child labor. The reverberations of the 1869 papal edict would be felt in every corner of the earth. Large families and attempted abortions took their toll. The medical profession took its toll as well. Its politically powerful association nudged out the practice of midwifery and eliminated the best available sources of abortion information. Backstreet abortions proliferated. Herbal methods survived discreetly. Women continued to have abortions. Secret knowledge of abortion methods, like the best of old wives' tales, persists, defying time, religion, geography, and the law. If you're looking for a traditional abortion today, you can seek out certain marketplaces in remote corners of the world where herbal potions are available. In Peru, a woman might have 4 or 5 abortions in her life, often after producing 8 or 10 children. Abortions are illegal. So are most forms of birth control. A modern medicine woman finds a receptive audience for her cure-all. The right dose will provoke an abortion or bring on a period.
She's saying that this is a medicine when you have problems, about having babies like that, you have to drink that. That's why she's demonstrating that. She says that medicine is made from the plants, from the jungle. So it's not a poison. It's good for the healthy, she's saying that. He make jokes like that also. That's why people are laughing at.
Some of the ingredients form the basis of modern drugs that induce uterine contractions.
Ya, hija, agarra, no tengas miedo. Hay que pensar para otra cosa, ya.
Does she have something for if a period doesn't come, a menstrual period doesn't come?
Yes, that's that for that. For the period, especially for the ladies.
Has she tried it herself? Could you ask her?
Señora, ¿y usted aprobó esto?
Sí, pues mi gordita, pues.
She says
Yo
yes.
tomo
That's
diario
right.
uno. Una tapita nomás.
Una tapita. Ajá.
Como trabajo yo diario.
The availability of herbs doesn't eliminate all the problems of unwanted pregnancies. The dosages have to be right, and the process can be dangerous to the woman. Danger is rarely a deterrent. It's in the cities where there are no herbalists and no small gardens that abortion is relegated to the back streets. In Peru, each year, thousands of women die of complications from illegal abortions. Juana Alvarado lives in Lampa d'Oro, the Golden Light, a settlement of squatters who came to Lima in pursuit of work. She and her neighbors see hope for the future vested in their ability to control the number of children they will have.
Cuéntanos cuántos hijos tienes tú.
Bueno, tengo tres hijos, 2 hombres, una mujer.
¿Y no quieres tener más por ahora?
No.
¿Qué hace una mujer aquí cuando queda embarazada y no quiere tener el hijo?
Bueno, aquí, si no quiere tenerlo, recurrirá pues a un sitio, a un consultorio particular, o hará algo pues para que el bebé no nazca, ¿no?
Cuéntame una cosa, Juana, ¿en qué condiciones las mujeres del barrio tienen que tener un aborto?
Hay personas, ¿no?, que a veces practican el aborto en los sitios clandestinos, ¿no? A veces son médicos que todavía no han terminado su profesión y ya están practicando estas cosas, porque creo que es el medio más fácil de conseguir el dinero, ¿no? Y hay personas de que para atenderse en un sitio, bueno, digamos, con mejores atenciones, un sitio limpio, ¿no?, cuesta demasiado. Personas así de baja condición o no tienen los medios suficientes, acuden a un consultorio clandestino, a riesgo de todo. Bueno, no es tan higiénico, ¿no? Digamos, es un sitio así, su nombre lo dice clandestino porque todo es oculto y en un momento de que de repente si alguien les pille, pues la policía, alguien se entere, tienen que dejar todo y salir huyendo.
Aquí las mujeres le temen mucho a la ley, a la represión de la ley acerca del aborto.
Sí, porque ¿quién va a querer ir a presa también, no, tantos años por un aborto?
¿Y tú conoces algunos casos, no?
Sí, hay personas que sí, inclusive sí teniendo condena, ¿no?, por el aborto.
Sí, siguen en la cárcel por
sí.
haber tenido un aborto. Por haber tenido, no por practicarlo.
Por haber tenido algunos y otros por haberlo practicado.
¿Cuánto más o menos pueden estar en la cárcel? ¿Tú conoces?
2, 3 años, más o menos máximo, yo creo que no es más.
The Women's Prison. In Peru, you can go to jail for having an abortion. The police visit the hospitals looking for victims of backstreet operations. The women who are caught don't have the money to pay for secrecy. Some women, jailed for having abortions, spend a year or more waiting to be tried. In the absence of fathers and facilities outside the prison, their children come with them. There's nowhere else for them to go. Bangkok is another city teeming with back streets. Women here have 4 or 5 abortions and many children. Abortion is illegal, but no one is prosecuted. In fact, there's a lot of money from international development agencies supporting family planning programs. But the old ways persist. In the past, special facilities were not necessary because massage abortionists performed most abortions. Thanapon's mother is a professional massage abortionist. Many villages in Southeast Asia have one. Thanapon is a student in a nearby high school. While her pregnancy isn't shameful to her family, it's an insurmountable obstacle to her continuing in school, so she endures the painful procedure. Her mother massages her daily for half an hour. It's as long as she can tolerate it. Around the 7th day, the placenta will detach and she will miscarry. Perhaps because it's her daughter, Thanapon's mother is unsuccessful with the massage. She turns to the new family planning clinic built with international development dollars, to Dr. Aruni, the medical director. The doctor agrees to do a simple vacuum aspiration abortion and urges Thanapon's mother to come to her any time she has a problem with her patients. She's optimistic about the blending of modern and traditional medicine.
แต่ดีแล้วเพื่อจะได้มีปัญหาวันหลังเอามาหาหมอแล้วหมอจะช่วยอธิบายว่าเขาเนี่ยจะได้เนาะสมมุติไปพอกันว่าแม่เนี่ยจะได้อันนี้กันเข้าหุ่นกันอาชีพเหมือนกัน
It isn't easy for Dr. Aruni to hold the position of provider of abortion and sterilization services. Both the state and the religion of the people are officially opposed to abortion. This makes Dr. Aruni's role delicate.
Okay, I feel guilty that I have to do abortion, but I feel another way that if I can make the people happy, the mother feel happy that she doesn't need to have this unwanted pregnancy, and another way that the unwanted child doesn't need to be born. I think I do something good. In Buddhist thought, killing life is no good. That means you commit a sin. But in the same way, Buddha said to be born in this world is suffering. I feel, how to say, 2 ways.
Thailand is proud of its family planning efforts. The birth rate has dropped significantly and the gross national product is up. At year's end, people now wish each other increased productivity and subdued fertility. monks blessed the family planning clinic on its first anniversary with holy water, chanting, and a feast. The clinic's landlord is relieved. Abortions might have left bad spirits on the premises. Population control isn't new. In the past, local conditions determined how many children were appropriate. Now, the impetus for family planning comes from outside the region, even outside the country. In the Hill Tribe region of northern Thailand, development agencies have introduced powerful incentives for family planning. There's widespread use of contraceptive drugs like Depo-Provera. The positive aspect of family planning in the North is best demonstrated by the paramedics promoting the use of the condom.
ผมพูดอย่างนี้เข้าใจไหมครับเข้าใจไหมฮะเราก็ใช้ถุงยางอันนี้ฉีกอย่างนี้นะฉีกอย่างนี้นะครับแล้วก็สวมตรงนี้ไม่ใช่สวมที่นี่สวมที่ตรงนี้ให้ใส่แล้วไม่ใช่พอแนะนำแล้วเวลาเราสวมนะถ้ามันบ่ออย่างนี้สวมไม่ได้ต้องให้มันตึงอย่างนี้ครับตึงนี้นะสวมตรงนี้นะแล้วก็สวมบีบตรงปลายตรงนี้นะแล้วก็ค่อยๆรูดลงมาอย่างนี้รูดมาอย่างนี้รูดจนหมดนะเดี๋ยวจะทำให้ดูอันนี้ใส่ไม่ใช่ใส่ตรงนี้ใส่ตรงนี้ของผู้ชายนะพอใช้เสร็จแล้วพอเรานอนเสร็จแล้วนะให้ลองดูเอาแกะมาดูครับแกะมาดู
The Hill Tribe women, unexposed to modern technologies, are intimate with the latest details of sterilization.
Uh, 20 years old and 2 kids, and she would like to have another son, and after that she will have a tubal ligation.
In these arid hills, the incentives to change are powerful. Water towers are erected for families with vasectomies, pigs and chickens offered with IUDs and pills. Population control is big business. Teenage Tokyo, where old and new explode in rock and roll. With greater freedom and privacy for Japan's young people, the rate of pregnancy and abortion has swelled. Japanese families have no tradition of explaining sex or sexuality. Mother-daughter relationships are formal. Sons are not expected to assume responsibility for inadvertent pregnancies. despite high technology and more freedom, the main source of sex information is from violence-strewn pornographic comics. But abortion isn't new to Japanese women. Traditionally, they have always controlled their fertility by abortion, legally or otherwise. It was inevitable in these crowded islands. After the war, abortion was permitted selectively under the eugenics protection law so that genetic defects in family size could be regulated. In fact, it was the only means of birth control available to women. Kitamura Setsuku is a journalist for a major Tokyo daily.
Well, it's by tradition. It's one doesn't speak frankly about life or about reproduction.
ですから10代の子供たちにもなかなか正しい性教育の機会がありません。
And so therefore, for the teenagers of today, there's not really the education necessary for them. It's not available. They learn about reproduction, things such as this through magazines, through porno magazines, through their friends. It's by hearsay. And especially the young women, they're not taught about birth control methods. And the number of abortions amongst teenagers has increased.
反対派の立場に立っているからということでした。
And she feels that these people who want to amend the eugenics protection law, that their position is one that is actually how can I say? Well, I'll go on more to say against women.
In Parliament, politicians argue to restrict access to abortion.
GNP は32倍、国民所得は24倍となっており、経済的理由は実際上その意義を失っております。
It's not open. It's not. Abortion has never been open in Japan, although it has been allowed.
It's legal. It's legal.
With limitation, a very strong restriction, yes. But it has never been free in our daily life, in talking or exchanging experience. When we think about abortion, it seems as if there is no existence of men. It's women's matter. And she says you wonder how does it come?
Yeah, I really wonder how men feels about, like making his partner pregnant, how much guilty consciousness he might experience. This is never questioned, So I really wonder how much, I want to know how much men suffer from this problem.
優生保護法改正の早期実現を政府に強く要請するものであります。右決議いたします。昭和58年2月8日、生命尊重国会議員連盟。
この国で、この世田谷で平凡な普通の暮らしを営んでいきたいといつも願っている主婦やその他学生さんや。
It is only 10 years ago, some very few women who have got influence of this women's liberation movement away from other countries started to talk about their physical experience, such as abortion. And although this is a very, very limited group, maybe we can see this was the start.
男の人なんか全然当てにならないと思ったっていうにその主婦の人は言った。
She has a friend. Her situation was when she was thinking, now I have decided to do abortion, and she was so, well, very.
相談しようと思って
Yeah, so very serious. You see, it's really heavy feeling for her. So she was sitting on the floor, on the futon and thinking, and then this husband of hers, tried to tell her, well, let's come in to bed and let's make love, something like that. And she was not in the mood of doing that, so she refused that. But then this husband said, well, don't sit and think there, go and sleep. And he turned his side to the other side and went to sleep. When woman was sitting there and thinking of the small one which is in her stomach. You need to be two to make love and to get pregnant. But to get abortion you can't bear it too. The pain and the physical and psychological mental experience, it is only experienced by one person, a woman. And that's why, to speak about abortion, we feel condemned. I think it is something which women press down and hide, because you can't share the experience.
Nowhere is it more apparent that the experience of abortion cannot be shared than at the mammoth shrines in special Japanese temple gardens, where costly little statues serve as receptacles for the drifting souls of the unborn. The women say prayers and place small decorations around the statues. It's an expensive burden of guilt. It always starts with the telephone, and Anne-Marie Bjorn, 35 and pregnant, is no exception.
Yes, hello. I am calling in regard to your ad in the paper today regarding abortion and contraceptive counseling. I wonder if you maybe could help me. I am pregnant and I'm looking to see if I can get an abortion.
Prior to 1969, abortions in Canada were illegal. In those years, women sought out backstreet abortions or aborted themselves. After 1969, the law permitted a woman to obtain an abortion in an accredited hospital if a committee of 3 doctors certified that the pregnancy was likely to endanger the life or health of the woman.
Half of the hospitals in Canada do not even have abortion committees. Half of those that established committees are not really functioning committees at all. They hardly approve any abortions. And in those hospitals where there are functioning committees, the decision to grant a woman an abortion or withhold it from her depends on the particular bias of the doctors composing the abortion committee, which in turn reflects the bias of the administration of the hospital. What happens in practice is that there are not many hospitals in the country that perform abortions. In any one province, it usually becomes known which hospitals do so, and these institutions then get swamped with applications and institute quotas, resulting in tremendous delays before the operation can be performed.
Where would that be possible? Oh, you can't disclose that over the phone? I see. I see. Well, I would, if it would be possible, I would like to have it done as quickly as possible.
It is well known that once a woman has decided she wants an abortion, every day, almost every hour, every minute of waiting for this to happen is a cause of enormous psychological stress to the patient.
Well, I'm around maybe a little bit over 12 weeks pregnant at the moment. Yes. Oh.
What is surprising, sad, and deplorable is that Canada at the present time is the second country in the world after India with the highest incidence of second trimester abortions. This means abortions done after the 3rd month and carrying a risk factor 5 to 10 times higher than those done in the 1st trimester. Imagine India is an underdeveloped country. We pride ourselves on being a highly developed technological society, and many of our doctors say we provide the best medical care. Why don't we provide it in the area of abortion?
In Quebec, Anne-Marie can go to a freestanding abortion clinic. In this province, the law is applied differently, and thousands of women from all parts of the country travel to the clinics there.
Ontario.
Toronto?
No, outside of Toronto. Why?
Yes.
Because it's not nice to be unemployed, that's why.
Ah, that's fine. No, not up to
The best patient, not just of the day, of the week.
That's true.
Oh.
She's very good.
Now I'm getting lightheaded.
Yeah, but you know you have only oxygen.
Pardon?
Now you have only oxygen.
Yeah.
See, when a patient is relaxed, it relaxes the doctor too. And
the
everybody
doctor
else,
relaxed?
so there's a mutual reinforcing effect. You're doing very well here. It's going to be finished soon.
It's over. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not pregnant, you're not bleeding, you're in perfect health, and you're a terrific patient.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Smile of relief, that's the nicest thing you...
Do a lot of people smile?
Occasionally they cry. There's a lot of
Yeah.
emotion that comes up, a lot of
Yeah.
feeling that comes up, you know. I'd say 95% of people smile after. Yeah, they feel so relieved.
Yeah.
And when it's over, of course, well, it's really great. Nice to see you like this.
Do you prefer to relax alone or?
Well, I don't really, one way or the other, that's fine.
Okay, what is the name?
Frank.
Frank, okay. I'll go and get him. Okay?
Yeah.
Anne-Marie traveled 400 miles to get here. Outside Quebec, there are no abortion clinics. So in Canada, as in most other countries, women with money have modest access to safe abortion. Those without do not. The church is powerful in Colombia and stands firmly against birth control and abortion. The state supports the church with legislation making abortion illegal, but accepts international development money that provides drugs, pills, and sterilization. Here, too, safe abortion is only available to a few women with money and the right connections. There are large families in Bogota's squatter barrios and a lot of backstreet abortions. There are no garden plots in which to cultivate the herbs that once served as missed period tonics. The congestion generates conflict. It's one of the main problems that Severina Sanchez has to deal with in her job in the small health clinic that serves thousands of people at Santa Rosa on the outskirts of Bogotá.
Hay problemas, ¿qué problemas se presentan aquí a la mujer respecto al nacimiento, abortos o acerca de los hombres, relaciones con los maridos?
Más que todo el tratamiento de los niños, de los maridos para con las señoras.
El problema de la violencia de los hombres contra las mujeres, o sea, de los maridos que le pegan y esto, ¿qué crees tú que causa eso?
Muchos desacuerdos y problemas más que todo en los hijos que están llegando.
¿Hay algún programa de control natal aquí en este barrio?
¿Qué familia?
Las mujeres que usualmente recurren al aborto son mujeres de edad que ya tienen cierta cantidad de hijos, o más bien son mujeres jóvenes que no tienen marido y no quieren tener hijos, o va a ser el primer hijo, o...
Que no tienen marido o que por alguna circunstancia las dejan o son jóvenes también pueden ser.
¿Cómo han tenido estas mujeres los abortos? ¿Por un doctor, por una enfermera,
por una enfermera pero que ya no ejerce o por alguna señora que ya pues...
¿Que hay mujeres, que aquí se presenta el infanticidio?
Sí.
Sí, yes.
The death rate from abortion in Colombia is one of the highest in the world. Abortions are conducted furtively, dangerously. When they are unsuccessful, sometimes women die. Sometimes they commit infanticide. Like abortion, infanticide is not confined to any particular group of women. Carmen Lopez works in a small kiosk at the edge of the Bogota garbage dump.
Sí, señora. Se encuentran más que todo pequeñitos, ¿no? Recién nacidos, de 6 meses, 8 meses.
¿Más o menos cuántos se encuentran diarios?
En realidad, pues, varias veces se encuentra uno, a veces no se encuentra nada, y cada 15 días o cada 3 días sí se encuentran varios.
O sea, que usted piensa que las mujeres que botan los hijos son prostitutas.
Pues me imagino yo que sí, porque una persona que esté en sus 5 sentidos y que reconozca a su hijo no va a hacer eso.
Pero ¿no piensa usted que otra clase de mujeres podrían botar los niños al basurero?
Pues sí, en realidad sí puede suceder eso, ¿no? De que hay mucha mujer de la sociedad que por evitar de que los familiares se den cuenta o que la posesión social se dé cuenta de eso, pues entonces harán eso, digo yo, ¿no?
She says that there are some women of the high society that also can do this kind of things because they don't want that the society knows about her pregnancies, about all these things.
Que hay niños muy bonitos.
Because they find really beautiful kids in the garbage. Okay.
Thousands of children go to the streets to live as beggars, window washers, thieves. They make up stories about parents who live under the sidewalks. The Maternidad Hospital. Many women end up here after abortions. The people say you only go to a hospital to die. In the septic or infectious ward, that's especially true, because many women come here after abortions too late to be helped, and many of them acquire diseases from the septic ward. Doctors like Hilda Geraldo are in a small minority. They are sympathetic to women who are subjected to the extreme conditions in hospital wards like this. Abortion isn't much of a public issue. Healthcare generally is poor, and women are taught by the church that sex is a duty and most birth control is sinful.
¿Por qué estás aquí? Cuéntanos.
Por un aborto.
Aborto. ¿El aborto te lo provocaste o fue espontáneo?
Lo provoqué,
¿Con qué te lo provocaste?
pero en vez de cebolla.
A los 10 días de haberte introducido la cebolla te trajeron acá.
Sí.
¿Y acá qué dijeron? El servicio de admisiones. ¿Qué te dijeron los médicos?
Que me tenía peritoritis
¿Qué tenías?
y por eso me operaron.
¿Te operaron? ¿Sacaron el útero?
No sé.
No sabes.
Yo no sé porque
Los médicos no te han dicho nada.
yo no he preguntado nada de eso.
Cuéntame una cosa, ¿dónde te informaste tú del método de la cebolla?
Una niña que escuché hablando por ahí le comenté y me comentó de la cebolla también.
Ya. Dentro del grupo de gente en el cual tú te mueves, ¿es corriente utilizar la cebolla como método abortivo o no?
No sé porque es la primera vez que me sucede, yo no sé.
Tú no
Y
sabes.
yo no sabía nada de eso, sino que comenté pues que sí, que no podía tener el niño lo que tenía.
Ya. ¿Por qué abortaste? Cuéntame.
Que tengo una niña, vivo sola con una niña.
No podías tener.
Trabajo para mi niña y no podía tener otro niño.
A woman has waited until she's in serious danger before coming to the hospital. Dr. Lozano is in charge of the ward. He faces women who are at the edge of death daily. Sometimes he's able to save a life. He is a religious man, and to him, abortion is a sin. On the black market in Colombia, a safe abortion costs $250. In a lot of places, $250 is the price of a woman's life.